What's up, my comic comrades? Today we break down Absolute Superman issue 2. The first issue introduced us to this brand new take on the Man of Steel, and so far it's an extremely refreshing origin and new path for Superman we haven't seen before. And issue 2 continues to reveal more about this Superman, picking up where the last left off, so let's get into it. Issue 2 starts off 6 years ago in the Redlands on Krypton. We see a young Kal-El doing school via a video call with the rest of his classmates as his teacher congratulates his students on their papers. But when he gets to Kal, he says, "Kal, I'm confused about what you turned in here. Your story about the dangers faced by loggers in the glass forest of Eureka is quite descriptive, but it doesn't appear to employ any generative text at all. You did source this directly from the cleric's luminarium, didn't you?" Kal, with his face down on his desk, says, "I wrote it." His teacher says, "Kal, I can't see you, and please speak up." Kal then looks into the camera saying, "I wrote it." His teacher is all like, "You wrote this yourself." "Kal, the luminarium contains all knowledge of the Science League from throughout Kryptonian history and could answer any question we might ever possibly ask. Why would you?" "Kal, I'd like to talk to you and your parents after class." The book then takes us back to the present where we left off in issue 1 on Earth in Brazil, where Agent Lois has handcuffed herself to Kal with some special metal cuffs. She then points her gun at him saying, "Get on your knees. You're being detained by the authority of the Lazarus Corps. On your damn knees now." But Kal just pulls his arm up to look at the cuff, which causes her to trip. While he looks at it, he says, "Okay, I can't break this. What are these chuffs made of?" Sol, his AI built into his suit, says, "Cuffs, Kal. You are weakened. You are vulnerable here." He says, "I'm chuffed to her. What do you want me to do, Sol? Rip her arm off?" And at that moment, she blasts him in the face with her gun as Sol says, "I will deal with the handcuffs," as the suit makes some kind of lava energy type substance around the handcuffs. Lane then says, "This is Agent Lane. Target suit is reactive. It's crawling up my arm," and Kal tells Sol not to hurt her. He responds, "Kal, I'm not the one you should be worried about," as the Lazarus military points all their guns at him. But it is interesting that even with her trying to bring him in, he still doesn't want to hurt her at all, showing us this is still a Superman that puts all lives before his own, even if they're trying to harm him. Anyway, of course, on the next page, the Lazarus Corps opens fire on him, but he shields Lois and himself from it with his cape that comes out of his suit, like a red mist, which we are seeing for the first time. While being shielded by him, Lois says, "Let go of me. Get this thing off me." He tells her, "Did you forget you're the one who chuffed me?" It's really funny that it's an ongoing thing that Superman keeps calling it chuffed instead of cuffed. Sol then says the cuffs are fascinating. This metal reforms itself as quickly as I can sever it. This will take some time. Kal says, "We don't have time," as Lane shoots him in the face with her gun again, and Kal tells her, "Stop doing that." She says, "Oh, so now you're talking to me?" He says, "Yes, because you're making it very difficult to save your life." She tells him, "Lazarus doesn't want you dead, just on your knees. Do it and this will all be over." Kal then tells Sol, "Use the dust to hold onto Lane," the dust being his cape. "Don't let it rip her apart." That's right, his cape is apparently made of some sort of red dust that can be controlled by his suit, which is pretty freaking cool. Kind of reminds me of Spawn's cape, where it could be manipulated and used as a shield and change its size. He then leaps in the air as the cape is holding onto Lane with Lazarus flying behind him, saying, "Holy hell, he's flying," requesting permission to engage. The Peacemakers give permission, saying the Brainiac system suggests chem rounds level 11. The other Peacemaker says, "Will do, though I can't guarantee the safety of the agent." As the other one tells them, "Nobody's asking you to, Peacemaker," as they fire the chem rounds at Superman. They hit his cape and explode as we see Superman and Lane land safely on the ground with not even a scratch. Although when she gets on the ground, she shoots him in the face again with her gun, and then says into a radio, "This is Agent Lane. Suspect leaped due east, approximately 8 miles to the town of..." But before she's able to complete transmitting her position, we see that Supes has recovered and used his solar power to jam her transmission. What I find interesting is that she said the suspect leaped, meaning he might not be able to fly yet, just jump extremely long distances. Because remember, Superman wasn't always able to fly. That ability was given to him later. Originally, the Golden Age Superman was only able to jump extremely long distances, hence the faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. So I think Lois using the word leap was definitely not an accident and more of a callback to Superman when he first started in the Golden Age, and then later he'll learn to fly, which I think is what's going to happen here. But let's pause right there, because it's that time of year where you want to show that fellow geek in your life some love by getting them the best toy or collectible our credit cards can handle. But it can be tough to find the right thing, so thankfully that's what our friends at Big Bad Toy Store do best. It's also why they're today's sponsor. With their 2024 Buyer's Guide, Big Bad Toy Store lined up their epic holiday deals with the stuff we all love, including their favorite in-stock items that staff members would love to have in their own collections. From Marvel to Masters of the Universe, anime, Ghostbusters, video games, Godzilla, and more, the team at Big Bad Toy Store have a massive inventory and wide array of collections for almost any fandom. But in the wise words of Judy the Elf, believing is seen. So we grabbed a couple of pieces from their Buyer's Guide guide to show you. Starting with this Big Bad Toy Store exclusive limited edition 1/6 scale Batman the Animated Series Noir version Batman by Mondo, which is completely glorious and brought a tear to my eye when I saw it. Anyway, we also got this killer Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Marvel Legends Spider-Man 2099 action figure. The detail on this thing is straight out of the movie, and these are just a couple examples of the great items Big Bad Toy Store has lined up. So if you're looking for a great roster of collectibles that will arrive in time for the holidays, look no further. Just click the link in our description, check out their buyer's guide, and grab some holiday deals. But with that important Christmas info covered, let's get back to where we left off in Absolute Superman. On the next page, after Lane tried to radio their location into Lazarus, Kal tells her, "I just saved your life several times, and you want to arrest me for it?" She says, "No, you willingly endangered my life by trying to escape lawful custody, which you're not going to do. You endangered everyone by being whatever the hell it is you are. What are you?" He says, "Just another child of the dirt trying to get by." She responds, "Right, so you're a hippie who's bulletproof and can jump really far." Telling us, yeah, he can't fly yet, just jump really far. She continues to say, "Is it the suit that makes you special? Who's Saul? People have a right to know." He tells her, "Since when does Lazarus Corps give a damn about anyone's rights? We're all just a bunch of livestock to people like you." She tells him, "You don't know any people like me, Sunshine, believe me," with him saying, "Arrogant, cares only about herself, angry at anyone you think isn't as smart as you, which is usually everyone who opens their mouth in your vicinity. You're everything that's wrong with your planet." She says, "My planet?" with Soul saying, "Stop, Kal-El, stop talking right now." He responds, "She's not worth talking to anyway. Will you get these cuffs off already?" She then asks, "So what's your planet?" as they start getting shot at by Lazarus. Kal then yells to everyone in the town to get off the streets and get somewhere safe as he picks up a car and throws it at a Lazarus flying tank while telling Lane, "Do you see? This is what Lazarus thinks of us. These people are not your playthings." The flying tank then comes crashing down in the village as Kal says the sunstone dust will shield you, as he goes around the town shielding everyone with the sunstone dust cape from the ensuing explosions. We then start getting narrations from a report Lane writes up as it says, "Lazarus field agent after action report. My first thought was that it had to be the suit. But while the subject's advanced battlesuit does display otherworldly properties, possibly including some level of sentience, after direct observation, this agent can say with profound certainty it isn't the suit. This Superman is plenty super all on his own. The full extent of the subject's powers remains uncharted. It is my impression that even he does not fully understand the limits of his abilities, as if this is all relatively new to him as well. In some way, Superman is very much still a boy, one who hasn't yet fully deciphered who he is. And in other ways, every bit a man, with an ethos that seems unshakable." After Superman shields everyone with his cape, he tells everyone in the village, "It's okay, don't be afraid of the dust." That's right, the sunstone dust cape can act as a shield and apparently also help heal wounds. This thing is crazy, but as Kal continues helping the villagers, we keep getting narrations of Lane's report that continues to say subject switches from a shy, soft-spoken demeanor to a more confident, commanding presence, depending on circumstance, without either facet coming across as an affectation. This feels like a man who cannot help but be earnest, who could never lie even if he needed to. We know from other sightings that he has traveled the globe. He speaks multiple languages, but somehow he still has the air of a lost child, of a life in some way interrupted, of a son without a home. A deep mistrust of authority seems ingrained. Suspect will prove quite difficult to apprehend. Despite repeated attempts, this agent never really had a chance. Suggested course of action, further study, intense study. I hereby formally request a full-time Superman assignment. We then see Agent Lane's private notes that says he smelled like oak barrels full of burgundy, stored for 1,000 years in a musty basement. He smelled amazing. So we're seeing signs of her falling for Kal already. After helping the people and having his suit wrap around him once more as he was using it to heal the people, he tells Lois, "Thank you for letting me help them and not interfering." She says, "You're welcome." He then tells her, "There's a place in the Arctic Ocean, islands with more polar bears than people, where the sun sometimes shines for days on end, but when it's night, you could see more stars than you could possibly imagine. So many of those stars are orbited by nothing but chunks of rock and methane. Do people have any idea how precious a place this is? I'm a child of one of those suns of nothing, my planet." She says, "What? What are you trying to say?" He then says, "My planet was called," but before he could say Krypton, Soul finally is able to get the cuffs off. So essentially both of them were starting to warm up to each other finally, but at that moment the cuffs were freed, which ruined the moment as Lane says, "Wait, don't just let me," as he jumps off. Later on we see Lane giving her report to Brainiac, who's asking how grave of a danger would you rank the subject on a scale of 1 to 10. She responds, I wouldn't rank him as a danger at all, not in that way. He's incredibly powerful, yes, and still raw in some ways, but I don't think he's looking for a fight. He doesn't strike me as someone we ought to worry about." Brainiac says, "Ranking of 8, noted." Lane then says, "No, that's not what I was." Brainiac interrupts her again saying, "Do you feel the threat possesses warrants of neutralization, or can Superman be controlled?" She says, "No, he can't be controlled." Brainiac says, "Agent advises termination." So noted. She then punches the computer saying, "Damn it, you're not listening, stupid computer," as the Brainiac system says, "This completes your after-action report. The Brainiac algorithm thanks you." At that moment, one of her colleagues or superiors comes in saying, "All right, Lane, sounds like you're done. Go ahead and get out of here. Nice work today." But she basically tells him, "I don't think I'm done with my report. I know what the automated system said, but I think I need to write this report myself." He tells her, "But you hate writing reports. Nobody hates writing reports more than you." She's like, "Yes, but it's important. I get my thoughts down accurately. My thoughts, not Brainiac's." He then basically says, "Fine, do what you want. Good luck." As she starts writing a report, which is the narrations we were getting from her earlier. The comic then takes us back to Krypton, where Kal and Krypto run out of their house saying, "A power outage. Come on, Krypto, let's hurry before the clerics decide to turn the lights back on." And while they go play, we see Kal's parents working on what we can tell becomes Kal's suit. Jor-El asks, "Has it been field tested?" Laura responds, "You mean in outer space?" "Jor, I built this when I was 12 years old, but the numbers hold up. The design is solid. Exploratory spacesuit and rocket ship all in one. Yes, I believe it'll work. We're just going to need a lot more sunstone." So we basically learn that Superman's suit and cape was made by his mother to be an exploratory spacesuit and rocket ship, meaning this suit is probably the rocket that got him to Earth in the first place. So his suit is kind of everything all in one. In fact, in one panel, we see he could even make weapons. So the possibilities with the Superman in his suit are endless at this point, as they're basically telling us his suit alone could make or do anything, kind of like a technological symbiote. We even see them talking about how they're going to get enough sunstone to make enough to get everyone off Krypton safely. Jor-El says, "If the Science League won't listen to what I have to tell them, then I'll steal all the sunstone I can carry, and you will build a ship big enough to hold everyone we love." We then see Kal make his way to Venezuela as Lois Lane finishes her report, and on the last page, the Peacemakers start killing the people that Superman just saved in the village. As they say, we'll teach them that peace has a price. And there you have it, friends, Absolute Superman issue 2. This was yet another great issue, and I'm loving all the new things we're finding out about this Superman, like how his suit works, and that it's made from sunstone dust. It could also shield him and heal people, and apparently even create weapons, so it's pretty dynamic. I can't wait to see what a fully realized Absolute Superman does with all his stuff, because he's not even able to fly at this point, he's just jumping far distances. Not to mention, we're already starting to see Lois take a liking to this Superman. I think this is a really fun setup for their relationship, because she's not just a reporter. She's an agent of Lazarus who's supposed to be opposed to Superman, so that creates some interesting story opportunities. But what did you guys think of this issue? Are you loving it as much as we are? Let us know down in the comments. Other than that, we'll see you next time when we talk about all things comics.